Oh, Peter's on mute. Are you talking to us, Peter? There you go.
Just complimenting Chris. I haven't worn a suit jacket or sport coat in.
I have a few board meetings today, so I have jeans on too. So.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to let you know that we started the live stream on YouTube, so just so you're aware. And we're expecting the county executive to join us this morning as well.
Will we get a quorum?
I'll check that out. We have Lynn.
Good morning, this is Joe Rizzo.
Peter.
Morning, Joe.
Zach.
Morning.
Tim. Okay. Joe, is that you with the phone number ending 1070?
Yes, that's correct. Thank you.
Okay. Joe. I see Ella. Okay. How about the phone number ending 0954? Oh, Andy. How about the phone number ending 0670?
I got it. Yep.
That's probably Jeff.
Okay. Hi, Jeff.
Hello, how are you?
I'm well. It's Rachel. Okay, we have Lynn, Peter, Dave, Zach, Tim, Joe, Ella, Andy, Jeff. Is that Hanif, maybe? Whoever it is on mute. It's okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can go ahead, Peter. We have 9.
Tony Sharaba.
Hey, Tony.
Hi. I see my name, but not my face.
Good morning, everyone. I'd like to call the meeting to order. And our first order of business is to review the minutes from the last meeting. Are there any questions or concerns? Otherwise, I'll be seeking a motion.
Motion to approve. This is Joe Rizzo.
Thank you, Joe. Requesting a second.
This is Jeff, I'll second.
Thank you, Jeff. All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
Thank you. There's a lot of faces. So I see Kevin for a local labor report. We may be passing over the local labor report for a moment.
I don't believe Kevin's on.
Anyone have any questions there?
No, we're good.
Great. Well, it gives me great pleasure. County Executive Bello, welcome. Great to have you on this morning. I have the pleasure of turning things over to you.
Good morning. Thank you. And good morning to all of you. I just wanted to take this opportunity to be with all of you here today to thank you for volunteering your time to serve on the MCIDC Board of Directors, and really offer my thanks for working with our team. Annalise, who is new to the county, this year, who started earlier this year. Obviously, Lydia Burr and the rest of the team working in our economic development department to be, frankly, extraordinarily flexible this year. We have been facing an unprecedented time that requires unprecedented action by the community and by government and for the people that we serve. And I want to thank you. A lot of us didn't know each other when the year started. I still have not met a number of you in person, just simply because of the way the year has unfolded, and we can't be together in person at these meetings. But despite the new relationship earlier this year, we have worked very closely together to respond to the needs of the community, and I can't thank you enough. When we started back in with the COVID-19 pandemic back in March and April, the partnership to create the first in New York State, we were the first county to offer a financial assistance program to small businesses who were impacted by COVID with the zero interest loans that we offered. We helped almost 200 businesses, small businesses across the community, be able to weather in part that first shutdown that we faced. And we moved very swiftly, very quickly to put the program together, to approve the applications. And then also I want to thank you for extending the payback period to begin, I think, next July 2021, which I think is really important because, again, the end of this, we were hoping this obviously would be over by the end of this year and we'd be in recovery, but we're still obviously dealing with the effects of the pandemic now, and we need to be flexible and nimble in how we do that. I also want to thank you for the facilitation of the SBA 504 loans. I want to talk a little bit about, the significant investments that you have all made in healthcare and educational bond deals that are going to amount to over nearly $750 million in new investments in Monroe County. I mean, that is just really incredible work. I want to commend you for approving these programs, being part of these incentives, and helping our small business community in every way possible. The challenges are going to continue into next year. And so I really just look forward to working with all of you to meet the needs of the community. Through the CARES Act dollars, we got creative and created, again, a small business grant program that we're putting money out into the community, into the small businesses here. Millions and millions of dollars to help support our small business community, who really are the lifeblood of our economy. And so we really need to be working creatively, collaboratively to come up with ideas, innovations, and programs that can help the small business community really survive as we come out of this next year. There's an end in sight. That's the good news. We have to get through a very tough, struggling next few months. So at this time, again, I want to express my thanks, and I would like to appoint the following current board members who have committed to a 3-year term. It is my pleasure to appoint David Brooks, Ella Kranzanowicz, Peter Pecor, and Lynn Ryan. So congratulations. And on your reappointments, I would also like to recognize Andy Laniak and thank him. Andy, thank you for your 8 years of service on the MCIDC Board of Directors, and we really do appreciate all that time. I know you are volunteer directors, and this takes up an incredible amount of your time. It's an incredible service to your community. Andy, did you want to say any words?
Well, first of all, I have to go on the record and say this is my first Zoom meeting since the pandemic began.
Is that right?
Okay. Everything else has been via telephone. So God only knows what you guys are seeing. You're facing Ames Street behind me in my office, but no, it's been a pleasure. I've learned a lot. I like the fact that we're looking at addressing economic needs holistically for the community. That's great. After things situate themselves, and I suspect for those of us in the private sector who have been on the downward end of some of the business effects, maybe in a couple of years' time, things get righted and we'll look at the world differently. But I appreciate the chance to serve, and I'm looking forward to actually being able to address customers again in person, which I think is going to take up a considerable amount of time. And that's it. But thank you for having me.
Andy, thank you. And thank you again for your service on the board. You know, we have a, you know, my hat is always off to folks who serve on boards like MCIDC, the Comida board, and then you go out into the towns, you have your planning and zoning boards. You know, these are all volunteer positions, and you put an awful lot of time into this work. And so, Andy, we appreciate it, and you get to have a little bit more of your time back to you. So I also want to appoint the slate of officers for 2021 to serve as president. It is my pleasure to appoint Hanif Abdul Wahid. Hanif, I don't know if I see you. Are you on?
He's had some technical difficulties. He's
Oh,
gonna
no.
hop on. Yeah.
Oh, no, he just missed his big appointment.
I know.
These Zoom meetings. All right. Vice President is Peter Hinn, Secretary Lynn Ryan, and Treasurer Jeff Barker. Peter, I want to offer, as you move into the Vice President role, I do want to thank you very much for serving as President over the past 2 years and your continuing service here to the board. Like I said, I really look forward to working with this board and the Monroe County Planning and Development team into 2021. We have an incredible number of challenges that are facing us and you know, working together to address the needs also of our talented workforce and that we have here in Monroe County. One of the struggles as we bring people back to work, that we're going to need to work collaboratively with all our economic development agencies, the Comida board, the Chamber of Commerce, GRE, is, and again, one, how are we supporting these businesses through the next several months, which are going to be, you know, this is painful. The virus is still spreading. It's having an incredible economic impact here. How are we getting through the next several months? But then what does that recovery look like after? How do we help, you know, businesses that are barely struggling to hang on right now recover? And then how do we get people back to work? And, you know, linking companies that are hiring. I just met with a company last week that has 40 job openings, and they're struggling to find qualified people to fill those jobs. So, and we have people in this community who are looking for work. And so we have also a responsibility to work together to figure out how do we link those in our community who are looking for employment, but may need job training and job assistance with those jobs that are currently available. And that's got to be part of the strategy too. So it's how are we growing and retaining businesses and jobs that currently exist? How are we attracting new jobs and industries and companies to Rochester? And how are we working with our labor and workforce to connect them with the proper job training and skills to be able to connect them with the jobs? So we have a lot of work to do this year, but I'm excited for it, for the challenge. We're all going to roll up our sleeves, work together, and I have every confidence in the world that our best days are ahead of us. Hanif, you were having some technical difficulties and you missed it. I just appointed you president of the board. That's what happens when you log in late.
I figured that was going to happen in my absence. Good morning.
That'll teach you next time. Yeah. Good morning. So congratulations, and thank you all again for all of your good work. Thank you, Anna, Lydia, the whole team at the county for all your work together. I can't stress this enough. The collaboration is critical. One of the ways I think our community has fared much better than some other communities across the state and the country is really the level of collaboration that we've had, breaking down barriers, breaking down silos, and really trying to think creatively about how to not just work, cooperate with each other. Cooperation's easy, collaboration is hard, and so we really need to figure out how we can continue to build those networks and work together as we get through this. So thank you all very much, and I wish you all a very happy and safe holiday season.
Thank you.
Thank you, County Executive
Thank you.
Bello.
My pleasure.
You're free to stay on the meeting, or you can jump off. I don't know if anybody has any questions or comments for the county executive before he steps away.
Seeing none?
All right.
Cool. I guess that was pretty comprehensive and good then. All right, take care, everybody. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Great. Anna, it's annual report time.
Say audit, Peter. Am I up?
I think I have, Anna, do I have you up running through
Yeah,
the report?
Yeah, we'll do the annual report, and then we've got the financial report, then the audit committee report. And
Sorry
then
about that.
we'll proceed. So I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen here. One moment. Can everybody see that? Oh, sorry. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's tremendous. Great.
So I'd just like to kick this off by letting you all know that in an effort to make things a little bit easier to understand for folks in the business community and just, your average street, we created a new logo in partnership with 29 Designs, which helps us with our website. So we're referring to ourselves as Monroe County Economic Development, and then we created two logos, one for MCIDC and one for Comida, that are in the same style, so that it's easier to understand that we're both two sister boards that fall under one mission focused on economic development. And we used the Monroe County green as our main color. And I was just wondering, are you guys okay with this? Our staff here tends to really like this new look and feel. We're going to roll out a new website pretty soon. So just wondering if you have any comments. All right, hearing none, I'm going to take that as that you support the new logos.
Yeah,
I like
looks
it.
good. Thing looks good.
Well, MCIDC thus far really hasn't had one. We were just using a basic Word document font for it. So this brings us up to a new level of sophistication, hopefully. Next slide. Sorry. I'm having some issues myself. No. One moment. Let's see. Resume slideshow. There we go. Okay. Our mission statement, you should all know our mission is to provide resources to qualified for-profit businesses and not-for-profit organizations that result in the retention and creation of jobs and employment opportunities in Monroe County. We are charged with promoting and providing economic development opportunities and providing additional employment and job opportunities to members of our workforce. So our mission couldn't be more important than it is today, given the COVID-19 crisis. Looking back in 2020, and I want to give kudos to staff, Lydia, Bridget, Raquel, Tony, Mary Beth, the whole team here, Allison and Robin. We've, even given the crisis, we've cranked out a number of support projects this year. We've had 17 great rates, 20 great rebates, 7 manufacturing rewards projects, 3 Monroe on the job projects, and 13 Monroe manufacturers jobs instances. Total 43 new jobs attached to the great rates and 28 to the great rebates, with significant investments on the part of those companies. So kudos to the team, and we hope to see those numbers grow in 2021. Again, given the hard work of Lydia and Tony and Raquel and Bridget and Mary Beth, We've executed on 7 SBA 504 loans, tied to $21.3 million in private investment on the part of those companies, with 96 new jobs. And I want to thank the board and the loan committee in particular for your involvement in making these deals happen. We're very proud of our SBA 504 loan portfolio. Our team works hard. These are deals that benefit the company and the companies and the communities more so than they do benefit MCIDC in the form of fees. So this is really important work. And bonds. So this is a significant pillar that we lean on for our finances. I believe we've only been doing bonds since 2014. So as you can see, 4 projects in 2020 that amounted to $749.9 million in capital investment in Monroe County and beyond. These were 4 deals dealing with 3 healthcare systems and 1 charter school system. And I appreciate the board's involvement in those projects. As you can see, if you look back at 2015, we did 8 deals that year to the tune of $535 million. So the numbers this year are in stark contrast to 2015. And we hope we're waxing optimistic looking ahead into next year, given the bond landscape that's out there. I'm hearing some optimistic remarks about it. So hopefully this will continue to be a revenue generator for us. Of course, we leverage the fee revenue to support important workforce development and economic development programs, such as the Great Rate, Great Rebate Program, Mineral Manufacturers Rewards, et cetera. So we take in these dollars and then we push them right back out into the community in the form of important economic development support. So our programs, number 1 is Make Monroe Home. Number 2, economic gardening. And then of course, our small business emergency loan program. So I'm gonna go right into Make Monroe Home. The property at 4611 Mount Reed has been completed. The project has been completed there, and that property sold for $120,000. And 3 Wedgewood Court is being completed this month and is scheduled to be listed in early 2021. And I don't believe Chan joined us on the call. If you have any technical questions about this program, just let me know and I can get an answer from Chan. She and her team administer these projects. Economic gardening. So this is an important program that GRE actually administers. And interestingly enough, when I worked there back in 2012, I helped to launch this as a pilot program. And so I'm proud that I've been able to kind of see it flourish in the 9-county region for several years. So as you know, MCIDC provides $50,000 to this program. We provide those dollars to GRE to administer the program. GRE also gets support from the Farish Foundation, the Community Foundation, the ESL Foundation, and the Tonar Family Foundation. So our dollars are leveraged pretty well to support this. It's a business retention and expansion, grow from within type of a model. And this past year, 19 Monroe County businesses were served by economic gardening technical assistance. These projects also lead to later expansion opportunities. So by way of example, one of the first economic gardening companies touched by this program was eHealth Technologies. And at the time it was, I think they had maybe 30 employees, and now they're well into the hundreds of employees, and they've built out a really nice brand new corporate headquarters in Henrietta. So these projects, you know, when you start working with a second stage business, when they have maybe a dozen or so employees, you establish a relationship and then you can usher them through to their next phase of growth. So we've seen several of these businesses have worked with Monroe County Economic Development on incentives programs through the years. And then this past year, 13 of those economic gardening companies were recognized in the 2020 Rochester Top 100 privately held companies. And I'll just add that GRE recently employed someone whose sole focus is to connect this program to MWBEs in Monroe County and beyond, which is great. Our small business emergency loan program, I want to again thank the board for your support for this very important program. As the county executive mentioned, Monroe County proudly was the very first county in the state of New York to provide emergency financial assistance to small businesses. And I also want to credit my team, in particular Bridget O'Brien. This was her idea to begin with, right when the crisis was kind of germinating. She thought, we need to do something. We have to come up with a program that's going to help these businesses that are going to have to shut down. So with your support and that of Comida, and of course the county executive and staff, we were able to make this happen. 188 loans were awarded. We've deferred payment to July 2021, 0% interest. Pay period is over a 2-year time frame. And we also recently worked with our banking partners to set up an ACH portal so we don't have to take paper checks anymore. So those payments can be made to us electronically. So that'll be something that we'll focus on in the new year a little bit later on. Goals and objectives going forward. Of course, job growth, investment, retooling the workforce, and responding to COVID, and really ascertaining the impact of COVID on our workforce and our business community. These are all really big tasks. So to drill down, I think what I'd love to see is for this board to create some new innovative programs to assist smaller businesses, focusing on those MWBEs in distressed areas who were hit hardest by COVID. The retail and service sector, I think, is going to need to be in our focus a little bit more in 2021 than it has in the past. Adam Bello, in his transition report, outlined a plan to really, it's a straw man, but he wants to develop a strategy to retain more college students here in Monroe County. So in particular, U of R and RIT attract students from all over the country and really all over the world. We'd love to see more of those non-native students stay on here for their careers, whether they work for an area company or they work remotely for a larger company that's based elsewhere. I'd love to work with this board to see if we can come up with a way to maybe develop a program kind of in alignment with Monroe Manufacturers Jobs, but focused on retention of recent college graduates. So that's something that we'll talk about into the new year. And I'd ask you all to put your thinking caps on. If you have any ideas or inspiration, please bring those ideas my way. The broad ask is really just retaining more college students in Monroe. And then finally, I want to take a closer look at our budget and our finances to maximize our performance and impact in 2021. I want to make sure that we're as in the black as possible, while also ensuring that we're spending all the dollars that are coming to us and the dollars are being spent in the right way. So that's something I'll work on with all of you and with Greg, of course, and our team. And that's all that I've got. So with that, I'm going to cease sharing my screen. I know this is tricky. I'm not sure if I know how to do this. Sorry, everybody. Oh, screen sharing. Sorry. Stop share. Okay, there we go. Sorry, everyone. So with that, I'd like to open it up for discussion. Thank you.
Comments, questions?
Hey, Peter, it's Andy. I know I don't have much to say, but any longer at least, but I like focusing on investment. Just coming in things from a manufacturing standpoint. Investment dollars today don't translate necessarily into direct employment jobs. It's always been a discussion of ours in the past, but I could see it on our in my company's factory floor where large investment dollars typically translate into support jobs for technical resources for people to support the equipment and the types of learning that goes along with operating it. So I would say that to the extent that the county can encourage people to make investments that don't necessarily translate one-to-one into a direct job, but have a significant downstream effect on support jobs, I think it's money well spent, because those tend to be highly skilled, very lucrative jobs to support very expensive equipment. And I think it will allow the county to be very, very competitive for people who like the area, want to stay in the area, and are willing to put the big investment dollars in the area, but may not necessarily translate into huge numbers of direct employees.
Good point. Thank you, Andy. Any other questions, comment?
Yeah, I'd like to ask a question of, I just seen the goals, and it stated that they were 2020. These are 2021 goals, right?
Oh, I'm sorry if that was, oh, Allison just told me to tell you all that to blame Allison.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah,
No,
I should have caught that. I'm sorry. It's 2021 goals. Yeah.
Yeah, those are goals for next year. Okay.
Yeah. We're all living in the twilight zone right now.
Right.
Great, great. Thank you for that, Anna. Very nice. If I can move along to Greg, it's been a very good year.
Yes, it certainly has. Thanks everyone for joining this morning. Let's talk about financial reports through November. Really want to focus on, like, again, we always talk about, our cash position. Obviously that's our most significant asset. As you can see from the reports, cash is down about 920,000 from the beginning of the year. I really want to just focus on what factors are contributing to that. There's really three big pieces of the 920. So we loaned out $1 million for the emergency loan program. We loaned out $500,000 in the revolving loan fund. So that's 1.5, and our operations is turning an excess, right, a profit of about $600,000. Okay, so all pretty good. We basically invested $1.5 million in the community in terms of loans that we fully expect to get paid back, and our operations are producing a $600,000 surplus. So all good signs, certainly during these challenging times for this year so far, and hopefully into the next coming year. So cash, again, balance sheet continues to remain strong. You can see our revolving loan fund balance. All payments are continue to be received. Plus, we had that loan of about $500,000 a few months back. Like Anna said, the $1.8 million loaned out to the community, $1 million from the IDC, and $1 million from the $840 from the IDC, and $1 million from assistance from Comida. In terms of again, we talked a little bit about our revenue and expenses. Again, as you can see, the bond fee income really pushes us over the top. All the other revenue sources are fairly consistent and operating better than budget and better than last year at this time. So all good on those fronts. We talked about the 4 bond deals, the $1.3 million that really pushes us over the edge. In addition to the revenue, the expense side, right? So our incentive programs, the grades have really, exploded this year in terms of what they have done in the past. So we have some additional expenses there, but overall our expenses are down, to budget and certainly to prior year. So revenue's up, expenses are down. Most of that economic development decrease is for again, some of it's been on hold, some of it's been, kind of changed in terms of, operating in COVID. So that's the big difference there in the expense line. But everything else is in line with expectations. Certainly our recasted numbers, that we had talked about in months past. So again, overall operations, you can see, is producing about a $622,000 surplus. If we add the $1 million in from Comida, we show about a 1.6 surplus to the bottom line through November. So all good news on the on this front. And I open up to any questions or comments.
Questions? Greg, we did go ahead. You are showing the emergency loan fund net of the provision. We installed a provision there.
We have not installed this number currently is the provision has not been.
That's budget for next year, right, Greg?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Again, Peter, I think it's something where the provision, I guess for this year is really hard, especially with the date of the repayment getting pushed out 6 months.
Sure.
Hard to really understand, with what that provision would be, for this year. We really won't get a gauge for how that is until the payments start to come in, right? Or the time comes to start making payments. So certainly if we do over the next, 30 to 60 days feel like there's a provision necessary for, whatever reason, we'll continue to monitor that. And we are, I know Lydia and Anna and the team, as everyone's really, staying on top of these borrowers in terms of just, not staying on top of more communication, right? Like in terms of that. So if anything changes, we'll certainly have that communication to the board.
Great. Thanks. Any other questions?
I just wanted to mention really quick, I didn't comment on this during my annual report, but I wanted to give credit to our team for working around the clock through weekends on the Fast Forward Monroe Grant Program. As you may be aware, the county allocated $15 million to essentially to us to issue into the community in the form of small business grants. And given the fact that these are federal dollars and they're being, the checks are being cut by county finance, there's a lot more bells and whistles and boxes to check than there were with our loan program. And so our team has been really just rock stars. We have to spend the money by the end of the month. So this has been a huge undertaking, and also while balancing the existing workload. So just wanted to mention that.
Great work on your team. Excellent.
Thanks, Joe.
Lynn, as chair of the audit committee, can I ask you to report?
My turn? Okay. So good morning, everybody. The audit committee met yesterday. We had one RFP to perform our audit. It came in from Mengel Metzger Bar. They did our audit this year. And based on the feedback from Greg and the staff and how pleased they were with the work that Mengel Metzger performed, the committee did vote to move forward and accept the RFP from Mengel Metzger. Price is the same as it was this past year. They did submit a proposal for 5 years. However, it will be reviewed by the board every year. So we're not committed to 5 years. But again, we reviewed and we approved to send to the board for final approval to accept RFP for Mengel Metzger. That's all I have to report. And any questions?
Thank you, Lynn. I think what I need is a motion to appoint Mengel Metzger Bar as our auditor. And I believe it's over the 20 through 23 period with an option for a 5th year, as Lynn mentioned. But I'm seeking that motion to approve Bengal
So,
Metzger.
so move, Peter.
Thank you, honey.
Second, Joe Rizzo.
Second.
Thank you, Joe. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. Anna, I'm going to turn it right back to you.
Thank you, Peter. I wanted to talk about 401k contribution. As we discussed on our briefing call yesterday, we are working on setting up a 401k for MCIDC's 2 employees. We've yet to hire for the third. There's an approved operations analyst role that we talked about earlier this year. We hope to accomplish that in 2021. I'm going to ask for the board, I'm going to ask for a motion to approve a matching 401k contribution of up to 2% per employee per year. Working with Greg, we identified that this 2% mark is pretty standard in the business community, and we want to give our employees the same benefits that they might receive elsewhere.
I'm pleased to ask for a motion to approve the institution of a match for 401k.
I'll move it, Peter. I'll move it.
Pardon?
I'll move it.
Oh, thank you, Lynn. And a second.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There we have it. Lydia, did you have a quick other note on any other business?
Yes, so I wanted to report to the board. So we've been informed we're subject to an SBA SMART audit, which is their higher level analytical audit of essentially risk. And they're focusing on 3 projects, one of which is paid off. So another one, 2 of the other 2 are, well, actually 4 projects. 2 of which have been foreclosed and liquidated on. And so we'll be working through that. We've asked for an extension of submission because we're really kind of caught up in this Fast Forward Monroe project, as well as working remotely. They've given us some pushback on that, so I'm not sure how successful we'll be, but quite frankly, especially working remotely, we can't comply with their requirements. They're looking in certain situations for information back to 2015. So we just don't have it electronically, and folks aren't in the office to scan it. And when we will be back in the office is undetermined, and we currently have Sharon, who you'll all recall has worked with us for many years. She's on loan right now to the call center for the COVID outbreak. She's bilingual, so she's really been able to help there. So anyway, I wanted to just alert you that we are subject to an audit. I expect they'll have some comments on certain things, and we're working as hard as we can given what we have. So there we are.
Any questions?
I want to take this opportunity, if there are no questions for Lydia, I want to take this opportunity to thank you, Peter, for your 2 years of service as president of this board. You've been a tremendous partner and collaborator and leader, and we appreciate you very much for staying on as vice president. We're excited Hanif will be stepping into your role. Hanif, as you all know, spent decades of service working for Monroe County here in the Planning and Development Department for many years, and we're glad that we get to continue to work with Hanif after his retirement, as his volunteer service to MCIDC will continue now as president. So thank you both.
Great, and congratulations, Hanif. For the veteran members of the board out there, I don't have any roller cocktail sauce for you, but it is available at Wegmans. That was kind of a long-standing item for all of us. I just wanted to quickly thank Andy Laniak for being vice president and chairing the exec committee, Jeff Barker as treasurer, and Hanif certainly as secretary. Chris, thank you for stepping up to head up loan committee, and Lynn for your work on audit, and Zach, thanks for handling our governance, and certainly Anna, Lydia, you and your team, Tony, Bridget, all of you, couldn't be happier for the work that you're doing, and that you continue to do. So look forward to it. Everybody stay safe, and I'd like to ask for a final motion to adjourn.
I'll move it. Dave Brooks.
Thanks, Dave. And a second.
I'll second it.
Thank you all. Be well and enjoy the holidays.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Take care, everyone.